Welcome to the Foundation for the Study of Cycles. My name is Lars Fontin, member of the board of the Foundation. Once a week, every Monday, we meet here at Cycles TV. Today is Monday. This is a pre-recorded session because I'm on business travel today. So I'm recording this on Sunday, one day ahead of time. And today's topic will be an update on Bitcoin cycles. You know, we are monitoring the dominant Bitcoin cycle quite a while and will update this regularly. So today I've prepared a short update. The general theme is we are right on track based on the main projection we have with our cycles on Bitcoin. So therefore this will be a quick market update on crypto cycles, Bitcoin versus the US dollar. 20 minutes. Let's get into it. So to get started, we will open the Bitcoin chart with our cycle scanner and application we use at the Foundation. So what you see here, if you are new to the channel, this is what every member of the Foundation is able to do. And this session is to guide you all through also to how to use the cycle application. What we're doing here is digital signal processing. So we apply procedures of digital signal processing to current market data. So therefore we open the Bitcoin chart just based on our wrapper with a click. So this is the current market action in Bitcoin, what we see here on the chart. And the standard procedure, just to repeat it very quickly here, is the main procedure which we follow every time, same procedure, same way how to detect the most important cycles. We have a quick look at the spectrum, the periodogram of the current analysis of dynamic cycles in Bitcoin. We look out for the most important peak, which is shown here at a length of 230 days. We measure it in days, so we're analyzing the daily chart here. And then the other peaks are just compared to the amplitude quite lower. So it's okay to go with the main dominant cycle here. If you are monitoring this channel regularly, you know that we are talking about a nominal cycle about 200 days in Bitcoin, plus minus. If you review my analysis on Bitcoin, which I do here regularly, there's a reason from the historic perspective to follow a nominal cycle of 200 days. For sure, based on the principle of variation, we will not see it exactly at 200 days. So it might be 210, 220. Right now, it looks like we have extended to 230, but that's anyhow clear, visible current length of this cycle. So let's see what the phase of this cycle is, which gives us an important information of where we are right now in this cycle. So you can read it also here on the chart. It shows phase bottom arrival. So it looks like we are quite in the bottoming phase of this cycle, but it gets more visual if we go here into our chart section here. So the cycle with a length of 232 is also listed at the top of this list here because it has the higher amplitude, the highest strength score, so it has the most impact on price movements here. That's a short description about strength. And the Bartle score is quite high, so also the statistical significance of this cycle is valid using it. So that's the reason we will select it here for our model. The color coding shows us that the downtrend is coming to an end. So bottom arrival, only light yellow. And if we activate this cycle to show it as an overlay on the chart, we see where we are at this cycle here. So that's where we are today. This weekend, or at least Sunday, with the latest data from Saturday here. From the cycle perspective, we are right at the bottoming phase. So this is now the time we are expecting Bitcoin to form a bottom, which was highlighted also in the other sections just we did in the past. So there's nothing really new. It's just clear confirmation about the possible bottom now in Bitcoin, which might to be on time here regarding this cycle here. And if you just see the historical perfect match in regards to these 200-day cycle, you will understand why we're following it. So based on this cycle here, the projection is clearly indicating now the next possible turn is an upswing into the summer period based on a cryptocurrency. And an additional topic I want to mention here on Bitcoin in regards to cycle analysis, and I always mention it, you should not only follow just one simple cycle, you need to build a composite model and need to be aware of how this composite model looks like if you also select more than one cycle. To start that, you should also be aware of that the cycle with the length of 230 seems to have extended. So in order to cross-validate this, we can add more data here into the past, to have more value, more historical data to analyze the cycle. So I will just load more data to the chart, which is here in light blue, and I will extend the starting point of our analysis more into the past, so in the year of 2019. So adding approximately one additional year of data. I will update the analysis here. Now we have more data in our analysis, which means we take more history into account. And you see that now the nominal cycle of 200 is still there. And here the length based on the principle of variation, if we take more data into account from the historic perspective, it comes to these 210-day cycles. So based on this analysis, it looks like we have more or less already passed the low of the cycle. So we can't exactly know what the exact length is, so 210, 230, but this cycle won't give us the exact day for the bottoming phase. So we are in now this period where the bottom should form. So in regards of a perspective into mid-year, I think the message is clear and it's quite static. So it does not fluctuate too much in regards to if we add more data, the dominant cycles flip around. So this should also be seen as an indication that you should not trust your dominant cycles if they are flipping around, just adding more historical data to your analysis. So the nominal cycle of 200 days is still visible here. I think the current status where we are on this cycle is quite clear. Now this is more an advanced topic here to add. I've prepared a workbook on Bitcoin in my analysis to explain what I want to talk to you. So let's go back into October 2021 last year. So this was the situation here. The key cycle, let's start with this one here, was the cycle with the length of 250. So again, the nominal cycle with a length of 250, projecting here the top to come in the November period. So this is the basic procedure, which I also did just the same with the current data set. However, you can also build a composite out of these cycles, and a composite means that you use more than just one cycle. For example, just following the sorting here based on strength, you pick the five cycles which are listed here on top. So just pick the top 5 cycles here, which is then the indication here based on this cycle. And now you see it's basically the same procedure. And if I add the out of sample, this is the result now of this cycle. And you see even the smaller moves here have been predicted very nicely in advance. So the data used here is just up to October last year. And this is the projection after this dot here. This is all the projection into the future. And if I just show the data after the fact, you see here that even this low and this top was projected right in time. We based on this projection, still some room until the end of February, but we should anyhow not trust these long-term projections in the past. The point I want to make here is a different view, which you can also activate in the cycle. analysis configuration. I call this also the composite energy model, which indicates, and this is what is shown here on the bottom in this window here, which is a different way how to read the composite plot. In general, it's just a different way how to read this composite here, not plotted as an overlay, instead kind of showing or adding the phases of these 5 cycles on top and just adding the, I call this the energy. So if all phases of these cycles point upwards, we have this green upward energy of the cycle. And if all cycles turn downwards, then they add up to these negative energy. So you can see the change, what I call energy in mathematical terms. It's just the sum of the phase of all cycles, if they are in alignment or in which direction they point. So if all phases point upwards, we get this green bars. And if all phases of the activated cycles here on top, we see this red bars here. Yeah, and based on this, just this energy of the composite without the up and down visual plot, you see that we still had this positive energy period, and I just make it larger to see it clearly, the positive energy, which was going also into mid-November here. So this is the plot into the future here. So it starts at today. So the first point is today, which is currently this point here on the chart, and then it plots the energy into the future. So you would expect in mid-November, until mid-November, we still had very strong positive energy based on the phase alignment on the different cycles here. So until mid-November, we should be careful with any clear direction here. So, and if you see what happens on the chart, until the top was in here at mid-November. So that's sad. The phases have even been positive here, which is not clearly seen by this simple composite overlay based on the amplitudes. If you add up the phases, you see there's still positive momentum to the upside, even if the sum of the amplitudes might go sideways here. So the energy model showed us to wait until mid of November. And then just based on the energy model here, you see that the full energy following mid-November is going then very into the downside here. And at the start of 2022, you see this big red amount of negative phase alignment of the cycles, which could be in simple terms negative energy, which will hit the Bitcoin price. So it turns already in mid-December. But then you see here, there's not really, and I will highlight it here, there's not really much positive energy coming back. So even if the phases still compensate for each other, the positive alignment, which is here in the center of this view, just gives a minimal positive energy momentum. And then it reverses into a quite larger downturn or down phase alignment of these cycles here. And if you just see the total of the period starting here when the energy goes down until the early beginning of 2022, you see there's only negative momentum here. So the first point when positive energy comes back from the cycles is end of January 2022. So, and you see what happens to the price until mid of January 2022. You see these until mid-November, which is the green bars here. We still had this strong upswing here, and then just the strong downtrend into the midsection of January, which is exactly with the first point in time where for the first time positive cyclic energy from this composite model is coming back to the markets here. And this is where we are now. So there's still a negative impact coming around the corner, but this is very old analysis. So you should not trust it going too much into the future, so we need to update this, and this is what I will do in a second. I will just show you, anyhow, just the dominant cycle was a perfect vehicle to follow the Bitcoin price in our analysis. But if you're more advanced into the topic of cycle analysis, you see how building a composite, not only following the amplitude plot on the chart, also these phase alignments of these 5 selected cycles here give you an idea how the cycles within cycles add up. And if you see this clear picture of just negative phases pointing downwards, this is a clear indication that it doesn't matter which cycle you select for a projection, they all point downwards in this momentum, and there's no turn or there's no single phase which might pull this back into the future. So that's another way how to put cyclic analysis into practice and to give you an additional way how to read these different curves. And now let's update this analysis into the futures or up to today. That's more important. So I will reset the range. I will clear the selected cycles. So let's clear up the chart first. We are now at today's point. I have not selected anything here, so no cyclic energy model. We know that the nominal cycle, the most important one, is with a length of 233. So that's the starting point for sure. Oops, but we know we want to build a composite plot. So in this case, without any big discussion, I will now select the first 5 cycles here from the top to again build a composite model. So, and using the same procedure here, the 5 most important cycles from the digital signal processing build up this composite model. For sure, you will see that in the past it really nicely aligns. The correlation scores are very positive just using these 5 cycles. But what I wanted to show you here is again the energy flow based on this updated composite model here with the energy view here. You see the period into mid-March. So I would say the next 4 to 5 weeks, there is no clear direction from the cycle phases. They fluctuate around the zero, so a little bit to the downside, a little bit to the upside. But the important thing is then, and that's not always the case, what you see here starting. So it rolls over from mid-March, then switches into a very strong point in time where all of these 5 cycles get to their positive upswing phase, which is then a very long-lasting period. So again, now we see 3 to 4 months, looking into June, that even all 5 cycles of this nominal model push upwards. So there's not this fluctuation here in the lower left for the next 4 weeks, which, to be honest, is no clear direction if you are following a cycle or composite model. There may be technical analysis or other maybe hourly or 2-hour charts would be better to fine-tune entry or exits. But anyhow, we know that we are in the bottoming phase, so maybe it's not as important which point in time here to pick, because in 4 weeks from now, we are really getting into a very positive period where all phases of the dominant cycles in Bitcoin show a clear direction. So similar to, or the opposite to what I showed you in October last year and explained what happened to the composite energy model. So this is now the updated plot, not only on the dominant cycle. So you see this wiggling smaller tops and lows. So we know, don't read it as absolute price swings. So the amplitude is no indication of price target. And the energy model then here shows us then latest by mid-March, there's only positive energy in this momentum view here. So that's it for today. I wanted to first give you an update on Bitcoin cycles, so you know where we are in the current dominant cycle model. Still, The 200-day cycle in Bitcoin is valid up to today. There is no other cycle seen other than it seems to, from the principle of variation, it seems to extend. So this cycle seems to extend in length. However, we are at the expected bottoming period now, and the projection into the future, the dominant cycle is showing upward period into summer. We need to be careful for the next 3 to 4 weeks. No clear direction, or there might be some sideways, maybe also surprises to the upside or downside. And then from mid-March, all cycles speak the same message from the energy model. That's it for today. I hope you liked this update on cycles in Bitcoin. Leave me your comments and question. I will review it under this video. We will then meet again next week on Monday, same time, same place here on the channel. So I would like to see you next week here. Have a nice week. All the best. Bye.